Hello, everyone. So welcome back, all of you, for biology session, and I can say biology strategy session. So here we are going to discuss about score 90 plus. Within these 45 minutes, I will tell you how to score 90 plus in your biology examination that is there on 27th of March, right? So once again, I welcome all of you because some of you may be joining us on YouTube or on Facebook. So I welcome all of you. First of all, I'm wishing that all of you have a great chemistry paper. Okay, and now you are actually backing up for your next exam. For some people, it might be maths that is on 21st. For some people, there might be IB or computers that is there on 23rd. And for some students, it will be directly on 27th of March, that is your biology examinations. Okay, so as I told you that I'm going to talk about how to score 90 plus in 45 minutes, and I'm starting the session right now. And here you can see our PPT. Absolutely. So, guys, first of all, I need your patience for this 45 minutes. What I have jotted down here, what I have collected here is all the information that you need to score 90 plus in your board examination. Now, what are these information? First of all, I'll tell you what are the marking scheme. Okay, which chapter carry what marks or how much marks. Okay, and then we are going to talk about what are the important topics for your biology in respective chapters or units. Then within those important topics, I'll tell you the specific points that you keep in mind, or specific topic inside that broad topic that is you can say that is very common, and almost in every consecutive examination, if I'll see past 5 years paper, every time the question will be there. Okay, so if you adhere to these few points that I'm going to tell you, okay, you'll definitely score 90 plus. Now, most of the student ask me, or they have sent me queries that what are the important diagrams that we need to practice. That's a very, very important question always there in the mind of the student while preparing for biology. I'll also tell you what are the important diagrams here. Right. So what I need is 45 minutes, with you. Okay. And then if you'll adhere to these topics, definitely score 90 plus. So let's start the very first thing, that is marking scheme. Okay, that's a very good marking scheme by CBSE, and they're constantly giving paper based on these marking schemes only. And if you'll see, there are 5 units there in your biology. That is, first is reproduction, genetics and evolution, biology and human welfare, biotechnology and its application, and last but not the least, ecology and environment. If you'll see this marking scheme, reproduction, your biology and human welfare, and ecology and environment carries equal weightage. That is 14 marks. Okay, the most important and the highest mark is from genetics and evolution. It's a big, and I believe, yes, out of all these units, genetics and evolution is one of the toughest, you can say, and a little complex because it has genetics, it has evolution, but for all biology lovers, it's one of the best chapters that is there in biology, 12th biology, I can say. Right. So I think all of you will say that I'm telling you the right thing. Okay, that we all love genetics, no matter what we study. So genetics carry maximum mark, that is the marks, that is 18. Okay, next is your reproduction. That is the first unit. It has only you can say 4 chapters. Okay, first is very easy. Okay, second is your plant, third is your animal, and last is your human health. That talks about a lot of different scenarios of contraceptives and abuses and all those things. So these are very, very important. Okay, now first of all, for all these units, what you need to do, I'll tell you that the very first thing, and I'll always tell every student who are studying 12th or 10th giving board examination, that NCERT is your Bible. Okay, now for the first thing, if you want to know anything about your subject, you need to study NCERT, because CBSE's favorite book is NCERT. Okay, they prepare their questions, they actually take out their answers, not only for 12th but also for NEET. Students who are preparing for NEET as well as for AIMS also. So NCERT is the very first book that you're going to study. And if I'll talk about these two topics, if I'll really talk about these two topics, that is biology and human welfare and biotechnology. Okay, and the first topic or first chapter of reproduction, it is from NCERT only. Direct lines. So each and every line of NCERT is very important. Keep that in your mind whenever you start any topic. You start preparing, you might have started preparing for after your chemistry examination. Okay, but whenever you pick any topic, for example reproduction, for example even in ecology and environment, you have to first read your NCERT. If you will see previous 5-year paper, you will see that maximum, like more than 70% of the paper is directly from NCERT. Now rest are slightly, I'm not saying it's completely away, but slightly different from NCERT. Slightly, but you can actually find those topics in their NCERT. So NCERT is really important, without any doubt. Okay, so first chapter of reproduction, biology and human welfare, biotechnology and its application, and yes, ecology also. So people have this particular misconception that ecology and environment is very boring. Okay, most of us think that usually. Okay, but it carries 14 marks, guys, and this is the only chapter which actually lands you in 90s bracket. Mark my words, ecology environment is one of that chapter which will land you in 90s bracket. So don't lose this marks, right? Okay, now so let's the marking scheme is clear to all of you. Okay, and now I move into the important topics within these chapters. Before that, so question pattern will discuss. So in your paper, in general paper, you have almost 5 sections. Okay, first is a very short answer, right? Second is your short answer first, that carries 2 marks. Then short answer 2, that is 3 marks. Value-based question, it's just 1 mark, one question that carries 4 marks. And last but not the least, that is your long answer type that carries 5 marks. Okay. Okay, some people have asked me something, so I'll take your doubts in between, guys. Chaitanya, okay. Now, here, what are the number of questions? So very short answer type questions, 5 questions will be there. Okay, and if I'll tell you, you have 5 units in biology and 5 questions are only there. Every one, every 1 unit will have 1 question in very short answer. So you have to prepare every chapter for this particular short answer. It's kind of an easy. It's not a difficult. I'll tell you what are the important topics also, what are the important questions also that might come to this short answer. Okay. Next is your 2 marks question, that also 5. Again, same thing. All the 5 units will be there in this particular short answer. Now the next one is your short answer 2 that carries 3 marks. This is one of those section in which people lose mark. I'll tell you, this is one of those sections because it has 12 questions and it is from every part of the biology of NCERT. Okay, right. So to score highest here, you need to have a grasp of your biology, especially NCERT. Okay, that carries 36 marks. Maximum section is there. Okay, then 1 question from from a very basic you can say value-based question. Okay, and it always come from your drug abuses. Okay, sex education. It's very easy. Like you need to tell them, like, what do you think about sex education in India or drug abuses, how to actually stay away from it, what are the measures you can take. So that's very easy. It's value based. You can actually write a lot of things in that. Okay, and last but not the least, 3 questions that is of 5 marks, and it is almost sometimes choices will be there. Okay, and it is normally from genetics, evolution, and ecology. Okay, and I'll talk about that. Okay, Chaitanya asked me that is exemplar is also necessary for preparation because before bio have maths exam. Chaitanya, and I'll tell you one thing. Exemplar are very good thing. Okay, it's directly from CBSE, and they have given a kind of sample questions that what should be, or you can also say that it's a kind of HOTS. Okay, now the thing is that first of all, as I told you, need to go to NCERT, then your previous 5-year papers. Okay, and then there are 100 questions that we are going to provide you. Okay, so in the link you can see in the description, there is a link. You'll go to that link. Okay, register there. Okay, I'll send you this presentation. Also, we'll send you top 100 questions. That's it. That's it. If you can do this thing in those time, 90 plus surely will be there. Okay, so let's move into once again the important topics that I'm going to talk about. So here the very first unit, that is reproduction. So reproduction in organism, you need to read NCERT for it. So I'll write NCERT here. Just give me a second. Okay, NCERT. For this chapter, NCERT will be sufficient, more than sufficient, and you'll see the previous questions also. So modes of asexual reproduction in different organisms. That's a very pet topic from which the question comes into your board examination. Next is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Okay, this is something which you can actually read, and you can actually connect with your previous 11th class topic, that is your morphology, that is your anatomy, especially morphology, because you have studied flower there in morphology, right? So reproductive structure, that is flower. Okay, it's very important. Micro and megasporogenesis, that how the male and female gametes produce in the plant or on the flowers. Okay, then pollination is one of the very, very important topics. Micro and megasporogenesis and pollination. Question will be there, either 2 or 3 marks. It will be there. Mark it. Then double fertilization. Star market. There will be. I'll like Arnab, I'll take this in a loud sound, that there will be a question on double fertilization. Don't worry about it. Okay, so do it. And short notes on apomixis and polyembryony. Okay, so these are the important topics. You might be thinking that, okay, these are the whole chapter. This is the complete chapter that we talked about. But yes, guys, if you want to score 90 plus, you have to go through all these things. Okay, I'll tell you in detail. I'll tell you what are the important topics there. Don't worry about it. Next is human reproduction, male and female reproductive system. It's kind of an easy, not a very difficult thing. Okay, male is easy. Female is it's a little complex if you'll talk about the development of the ovum and all. Okay, so that's gametogenesis. Like double fertilization in sexual reproduction in flowering plants, menstrual cycle in your human reproduction. One of the most important topic of this chapter. One question will always be there. Okay, right. So when I mark star, that means, so whenever I mark star, what you need to do is that you prepare that particular topic for 5 marks question. Okay, the best thing to do is to prepare that particular topic for 5 marks question. How? First of all, for example, menstrual cycle, it has a lot of scope. You first need to tell what is menstrual cycle, how it happens, what are the role of hormones. Okay, what happens in the uterus, what happens in the ovum. Okay, and then you can make a diagram also. Okay, so that you have prepared for 5 marks. Let's say there is a question, 2 marks from menstrual cycle. You can actually minimize those things, because the problem is that what students face a lot of from many students ask me, sir, I know the answer, but how to write for 5 marks? So prepare for 5 marks. Don't prepare for 2 marks or 3 marks. Prepare for 5 marks. You can squeeze it down for 2 marks or 3 marks. Right? Do understand that. Then is your fertilization, implantation, and embryo development and parturition. Parturition is normally related to your hormonal, like for example, oxytocin, and then you have feeding also. Okay, that's your prolactin. So there's one very famous question, that which hormone helps in production of milk? It's not oxytocin, guys. It's prolactin. Okay, oxytocin help in ejection of milk. Okay, so that's very important. Reproductive health, very cute chapter. Okay, right. Sexually transmitted disease like AIDS and your different bacterial and viral diseases. You should have a knowledge of that. Okay, and then assistive reproductive technique. Absolutely, always there will be a question. Always. Okay, now next, move ahead. Then genetics start. The very first chapter is the best man for genetics is Mendel, and Mendelian genetics is for monohybrid and dihybrid cross. And you should know about the Mendel's law. Okay, I think we all, like all biology lovers and all there, this thing they all love. I don't think so. No one has a problem. Another very important topic for this chapter is your test cross. One question, always be there. Maybe 1 mark, maybe 2 mark, but always be there. Okay, right? Incomplete dominance, co-dominance, we do understand that difference, please. Chromosomal theory of inheritance also, linkage and recombination. These are the topics that are important. Next is molecular basis of inheritance. Okay, structure of DNA is very important, and if you can draw the structure of DNA, that's cherry on the cake, if you can say that. Okay, so I'll give you a little trick if you can try it on. Take 2 pencils. Okay, take 2 pencils like this. Okay, and then try to draw S. Okay, and 2 times, because it's a double helical. Okay, 2 times draw it like this. Take 2 pencils like this. Okay, you'll find after drawing this, you'll find that you have drawn a DNA, and that's a very beautiful DNA. Try it out. Okay, guys, try it out. I'll definitely think that you can draw it. Transformation experiment is one of the very important experiments. Then your DNA replication. And yeah, all topics are there. Absolutely. DNA fingerprinting, one question will always be there. Okay, so don't worry about it. Evolution. So sometimes people think that, sir, evolution is kind of big. Do read evolution from NCERT, because sometimes there are direct line from NCERT. Okay, homologous, analogous organs are like, it's like very favorite to both people. They will ask you the question. Okay, Hardy-Weinberg principle. Okay, human evolution. So there is one question, small note on human evolution will always be there. So try to read it up. Okay, right. Now the next chapter is, or the next unit we have started, that is human health and diseases, strategies for enhancement of food production, microbes and human welfare, and biotechnology. Okay, so these 3 are from the same unit, and biotechnology is the another unit. Okay, these are the important topics which we have noted down here. AIDS, cancer, immune system, and alcohol and drug abuse. This is the favorite topic, guys. Don't miss it. Okay, all the 4-mark question will always be there from this particular topic. Okay, now strategies for enhancement. These are the topics. Okay, don't miss out biofortification, single cell protein, tissue culture. A 2-mark short note will always be there. Don't miss out from this. Okay, microbes and human welfare, lab. Okay, and there for this I've talked about that you have to read NCERT. Okay, there are a few questions, there are a few lines that are also there, like for example, if we talk about, there are lab. Okay, right. For making curd and all. Okay, then there are immunosuppressor. Okay, then there are clot busters. Okay, these are the small topic one-liners. There are questions from them. And yes, we'll talk about biotechnology as well. So these are the important topics. Next, we move into the ecology, that is organism and population. These are the important topics, guys. Okay, so don't worry, I'll send you this this PDF of this particular slide. You can actually keep it with yourself. Okay, and refer it whenever you want. Okay, for doing that, you need to just click on the description. Okay, now let's move one by one into the important topics. Fine, all right, one by one into the important topics. First of all, reproduction. From reproduction, there will always be a question in section A, section B, section C, and section E. Always. Okay, fine, one question will be there. One or more than one question will also be there. So first of all, what are the important questions that are in section A? I've prepared it like that. Okay, what are the important questions in section A? ARTs, assistive, reproductive techniques. Question like role of genetic mother in MOET. That's a like very famous question. So I've talked about, these are the very important questions. Some trick questions I've also jotted down here. Okay, vegetative propagation through stem modification. That is not a question of your morphology that you have studied in 11th class, but it is a question from the very first chapter of your NCERT. Okay, and there's a diagram and all the things there. Do go for that. Okay, small question for sexual reproduction in plants, like microsporogenesis, megasporogenesis, double fertilization. As I told you, these are the important topics that you need to go. Right? Okay. This is also very important. Role of tapetum in pollen development. Just 1-mark question. Simple. Okay, you just need to write a single line that it helps in nutrition, right? Exactly, for developing pollen. Next, what are the different questions in section B? Okay, so here, sexual reproduction, a short question like pea plant produce viable seeds, but an individual papaya plant doesn't. Why? This can be a question that has. Now, I talked about that pollination is very, very important, right? And these all words are very, very important for you. Maybe a short note from them. What is autogamy? What is gatonogamy? What is xenogamy? So this is simply what is self-pollination, what is cross-pollination. Okay, do understand that. And like, for example, cleistogamy, in which sometimes they ask that, what are the properties that are favored for self-pollination or cross-pollination? You should know that. Okay. Now, structure of male and female gametophyte of angiosperm. Pollen grains, 2 cell, 3. There's always a question like this: 2 cell, 3 cell. Okay, right. And human reproduction, placenta is very important. Okay, like what is the role of chorionic villi in humans? Okay, that's a very special property for mammals. Chorionic villi is there. So there's always there can be a question. So these are my my assumptions that these questions, out of all these, there will be some question in your examination. Okay, so do read that. Now, what are the different questions in section C? If you'll see, they'll ask you like about the pollen structure. What is the function of exine? What are their advantages? What is germ pore? And they can ask you the difference. What are the difference between the germ pore of a dicot and a monocot? Angiospermic plant. So you should know about that, guys. Don't lose marks in apomixis and all. Always, a short note. Just remember 2 lines, but do remember it. Okay, right. Next is reproductive health, reproduction and child healthcare program. So from here, there can be a question on in 4 marks. Okay, so don't rule. Amniocentesis, question always be there. Drug abuses, implications, all these things. Question can be there in your section D. That is 4 marks. Okay. So there's one question also, that MTP. Okay, that is also from this amniocentesis. What are their advantages? What are their disadvantages? Why there is MTP in India? So do understand those questions. Human reproduction, structural details of human sperm. Sometimes diagram also asked. Its part and their function. Structural detail of female ovum also. Okay, so you need to know that whereas what are the different membranes, what are the different outer coverings of the ovum. Okay, so that you should remember. Now section E, that is 5 marks. Okay, role of pituitary and ovarian hormones in regulation of menstrual cycle. That's why I told you, prepare it for your 5 marks. Menstrual cycle always be a question. Okay, hormones and all those things. Diagram of female reproductive system, menstrual cycle in detail, spermatogenesis. Okay, sectional view of seminiferous tubule, role of pituitary hormones in spermatogenesis. These are the very favorite questions. These are my guest questions that can come in examination. Okay, and sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Diagram of anatropous ovule, that the curved one. Okay, that look like something like this. Okay, if you remember. Steps in selecting, breeding and choosing suitable pollen types. Microsporogenesis and structure of pollen grain and polyembryony. So that comes polyembryony, your apomixis. This all comes in a simple, the last topic of this plant chapter. Okay, so guys, reproduction, these are the important topics. First of all, okay, don't miss out any. So when you start, so what you need to do when you start preparing for reproduction, go for NCERT and keep on preparing those topics which are written here. Okay. And then go for previous year question. You will find that most of the topics, most of the topic which I have prepared, most of them, completely 100%, okay, will be there in your previous year papers also, and this year as well. Okay, so don't miss that. Next is genetics and evolution. A big, but ultimately not from everywhere question will be there in your board paper. So there are some important topics. For example, types of cross done to determine the genotype of an organism. As I told you, test cross is one of the most important topic from the very first chapter of genetics, right? Now, number of chromosomes in honeybee, drones, and types of cell division involved in spermatogenesis. Codones flanking both the sides. Okay, that's one of the favorite questions. A chromosomal defect of Klinefelter syndrome. That's not only Klinefelter's only. Chromosomal defect can be asked in any other, for example, a question from Down syndrome, Patau syndrome, Edwards syndrome can be asked, because genetics and evolution is kindly, it's slightly bigger than what is there in NCERT. Cestron, these small notes, you should remember what is reverse transcriptase. There is a diagram there in NCERT, if you remember. Okay, you need to do that. Topics like DNA replication. Now, DNA replication transcription, translation, post-translation modification, DNA fingerprinting, all these things. Prepare it for, I'll not say 5, but prepare it for 6 marks. Seriously, I'm saying prepare it for 6 marks. Lack operin, sorry, I've missed operin as well. These topics, and from here, you will get at least 2 to 3 questions from these topics only that I've just told you. It's very important. Okay, and it's not very difficult also. You can draw a diagram in that. Okay, you can write a flow chart also. So that's another thing that I'm going to tell you, that how to actually beautify your paper in biology. Okay, that I also tell you. Okay, nowadays there is a we beautify everything. We want to beautify our paper also, and that definitely give you an edge effect over others. Now, section B, monohybrid dihybrid cross, Punnett score, Mendel's law. Simple thing, a question will be there. Okay, start codon, initiation codon. You should remember, right? Opera, amber. Okay, the stop codon and all those things are always there. Now, there is one question always. You don't have to remember the whole codon. Okay, don't want to remember 64 codons. No, you don't have to. Okay, but you have to understand the properties of genetic code. Like they are degenerate, they are unambiguous, they are universal. What are these things? Okay, so you can also prepare it for 5 marks because it has a lot of different properties. Prepare it. Next is evolution, divergent, convergent evolution, homologous, analogous in plants and animals. As I told you, there will be one question. Just keep it there in the mind that there always be one question. Now I'm moving ahead quickly because time is running very fast for all of us, and I don't want to waste your time as well. Next is your section C, principles of inheritance and variation, test scores again, Mendelian disorders like thalassemia, hemophilia, cystic fibrosis, and your color blindness. There will be one, maybe a pedigree analysis will also be there. Okay, prepare it for that. Your pedigree chart will also be there in NCERT. Go for that also. Section E, last, that is 5 questions. There is always not a single big question, but there are 2, 3 multiple, 2, 3 questions in a 5 marks, 2 marks, 2 marks, and 1 mark, like that. Okay, so principle of inheritance and variation, genetics of blood group. Okay, there's a chart there also in NCERT, genetic disorders including thalassemia. So when you prepare this, okay, your 5 marks question will also be prepared. Okay, molecular base of inheritance like central dogma. So it constitutes of replication, transcription, translation, everything, right? Okay, Sanjay is asking, sir, mere full NCERT covered in hai, but tricky question in 2 marks, I struck. That's absolutely, Sanjay. That's what I'm saying. Your NCERT is covered. Okay, fine. What you can do, you can start practicing these 100 questions. Okay, and go for the previous 5 marks question, previous 5-year question. Because if you'll understand, every time there is a repetition, at least out of 26 questions, at least 10 questions is repeated, some or the other way. Feel that. Okay, you can check that as well. Okay, molecular base of inheritance, central dogma, Michelson and Stahl experiment. If you can draw the experiment diagram, okay, if you can draw that, what a difference between the DNA, okay, and how they are seeing in the tube of centrifugation tube, okay, if you can draw that, full marks. No one can cut your marks. Structure and function of DNA, that clover leaf model, okay, and post-transcriptional modifications. As I told you, prepare it for 5 marks. Cool, understood? So once again, genetics and evolution is very, very important. Okay, 18 marks. And if you can write it, you'll get 18 marks. No one will cut your marks. Okay. Now, biology and human welfare. It's a 3-chapter unit, but it's a very, very easy. If you go for NCERT, it's very easy. You will not lose the marks. Economic values like saccharum, officinarum, and these are the different microorganisms will be there, like lab and all those things. What they produce, what are their effects? Go for NCERT, nowhere else. Biofortification, always be there. Short note, 1 mark, 2 mark, not more than that. Hybrid crops of plants and animals. Okay, right. Inbreeding depression is always there. There's also this thing. Some or the other way, there will be one question in breeding depression. Okay, micropropagation, somaclonal. Like out of these 3 topics, one question will always be there. Okay, and then there are your communicable diseases that you need to understand. Life cycle, there's one life cycle that is given in Plasmodium. It has already been asked in previous examination, can be asked here as well, this year also. Okay, you can go for some other like Vaucheria, Bancrofty and all these things. Prepare a short note out of that. Okay, prepare a short note of AIDS, cancer, immune disorders, prepare it. Okay, now human health, diseases, your immunity. What is the difference between active and passive immunity, humoral and cell mediated immunity? Prepare the differences very well, all of you. A short note of cytokines, interferon, and histamine can be there. Okay, strategies enhancement of food like conventional plant and animals. These things will always be there. Okay, inbreeding, depression, all these things. So when you prepare holistically, you will prepare for A and B part also. That's not a problem. There is not a question on section C. I have not seen, or if it is there, it will cover in section A and B. That's not a problem. For section E, you have to do the life cycle of Plasmodium or for Sharea Bancrofti that I told you. Okay, so if you prepare that, perfect. And if you can draw the diagram, that flow chart somehow, if you can draw that, you don't have to draw the diagram in it, but at least write. Okay, at least write what are the important points. For example, that trophozoite is the infecting stage, merozoite is the infecting stage, like that. Okay, you can write your answer. Last, or the second last, that is your biotechnology. Okay, biotechnology, again, section A, section B, section C and E. Biotechnology, you can count the topics that are there very easily. First of all, you need to understand what are the different steps in inserting a DNA. That is your recombinant DNA technology. Recombinant DNA technology, but sometimes call it RDTA as well. You should know the overall process. Sometimes a short note comes, and you can make a flow chart, very beautiful flow chart. Okay, that first of all, you take out the desired DNA, then insert it into you take out the plasmid DNA, then insert it into the transformation happens, and all those things you can write very well through a flow chart also. Okay, restriction endonuclease. Keep this in mind that there will be 1 or 2 marks question, or maybe in 3 marks question there is a small topic about restriction endonucleases, and you can prepare restriction endonucleases for 5 marks also, guys. Okay, there are a lot of things. Okay, you can write. You can start from nucleases. So there are nucleases which are exonucleases and endonucleases. What are the functions of exonucleases? What they do, and what are the functions of endonucleases? What they do, and then their type. Okay, and try to remember 1, 2, you can say examples of that. Okay, so that's pretty important. PCR, again, you can learn PCR by drawing the flow chart, and you can also, after that, you can draw the what I can say, you can draw the diagram of it. Okay, the 3 process, you can draw the diagram also. It's very easy, not a difficult thing. Then replacement theory like gene gun, gene therapy, 2 marks question will be there. Okay, or 3 marks question. Diagnosis like GMO, recombinant, insulin, vaccine design, etc. Now these are the important, section B, these are the important topics that you need to do. I'm not going to pronounce that, but you keep that in mind. You have to prepare every topic, these here that are written. Okay, like RNI, like BD, okay, like your gene therapy, you have to prepare it for at least 2 to 3 marks, and definitely it will be there. Same applied for section C and E. Okay, so when you go and read biotechnology from NCERT, okay, underline those topics, and then try to prepare these topics. And I know you might have made your notes and all. Try to just read that, okay, and try to give the answers. No problem. Last is your ecology, everyone. Ecology, we absolutely believe that it's sometimes when you read, feel sleepy and all that, it happens, but there will always be a question from population interaction, mutualism, symbiosis, okay, commensalism, all things will be there. Okay, productivity, there will be a question of productivity. So prepare GPP, NPP. You should know the full form and what is the definition of it. Okay, so an equation of NPP that is also there in your NCERT. Biodiversity hotspots and types of biodiversity. That's the thing you have to prepare from biodiversity. Simple. Okay, now environmental issues. You are studying these things from class, I don't know from which class, like 6th, 7th. Okay, your ozone depletion, your greenhouse effect, okay, global warming. Like you can write a whole paragraph from it. Okay, I believe there shouldn't be a problem. There is always be a question. It will give you full marks. Don't lose that. Okay, now next is your organism and population. Okay, these are the important topics that you can go through. Okay, and you'll find a question out of it. Okay, ecosystem. Absolutely, there will be another question from it, maybe from 3 marks or 5 marks. Okay, that ecological pyramids. They can give you that why pyramid of energy is always upright. To write this particular statement, if you write this particular statement, there's Liebig's law, 10% rule. Okay, if you write this, that's the answer. Okay, and you can then elaborate it. Give a simple example of a normal forest, from a plant, then till your lion. Okay, you'll give a example. That's not a problem. And section C, again, ecological pyramid, JN S-shaped, population growth. Okay, so these are the important topics, fine topics that you need to prepare. Okay, right. I know there are people who are directly going to give biology exam, who are going to give their maths exam, who are going to give their computer science examinations also. Okay, at least take out 7 days for this preparation. 2 days for genetics, 2 days for reproduction. Okay, give it that, and then one day for your rest 3 chapters. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Okay, now the next important thing, that what are the important diagrams that I have listed here. Okay, and some I'll show you also. Male and female reproductive system. It's slightly tough, but try to and labeling is very important there. Structure of sperm, absolutely very, very important. Structure of ovule and anther in plants. Events of menstrual cycle, structures and parts of mRNA, tRNA, DNA, nucleosome. Nucleosome is very important, asked in last time. Structure of an antibody molecule, age pyramids of human population, population growth curve, and phosphorus carbon dioxide cycles. If you can draw you don't have to draw, if I say you don't have to draw an industry, you don't have to draw a mountain and there are birds flying. No, you don't have to draw like that. Okay, fine. You just have to draw a flow chart. Okay, or a flowchart like cycle. Try to draw it. Okay. Now, important tables. Guys, this table is one of the most important table of your NCERT. This one and this one. These two, always you'll find a question from these two. I've seen that. It's very hard to learn for me as well. I don't know how to, but you need to also. Okay, there will be a question. Okay, from these two tables. Okay, so and you'll see previous question, you will find a question from these tables. There's one more table that you will find it here. It will help you to remember these interactions. You can draw it when you, if there is a short note or what are the interactions, population interactions in species, you can actually draw this table as well, give you full marks. Okay, after a little explanation. Okay, then important diagrams. For example, this is the diagram of a flower that is given you in NCERT. Okay, you can draw that. Okay, then this is another diagram of the ovule. Okay, simple diagram, you can draw it. Labelings are important, which is a chilazal end, which is a micropylar end. Filiform apparatus is where antipodal cells are where. Sometimes question asks, what are the functions of filiform apparatus? You should remember it. Fine, all right. Okay, any of the 3 diagrams you can actually remember. The most important is this one and this one because the labelings are there. Okay, so you can remember this one and this one. Like you can let go this one. Fine, all right. Then another very important diagram, that is your sperm. Very easy, tadpole like you have to draw, but the labeling that is there in the head, plasma membrane, acrosome, what is the function of acrosome? Okay, these are very, very important things. Okay, where is the mitochondria present in the sperm? That should be in the middle piece. These should be the question normally asked. Okay, now if you can draw this while explaining microsporogenesis and sorry, I'm saying spermatogenesis and oogenesis, definitely this one is very important. It will give you full marks. When you explain menstrual cycle also, no, you can draw this. It's very helpful. Seriously. Now, nucleosome, you can directly draw this diagram, not a problem, and label it. Okay, fine. This is histone octamer. It consists of 1,2A, 1,2B, sorry, H1, H2A, H2B, and your H3, H4. You can also write in bracket here in histone octamer. I have studied that. Okay, this particular diagram and this particular topic, Urine-Miller experiment and Operin and Helden concept hypothesis. Okay, will be there. One question will be there. Don't worry about it. You prepare it. And keep that in mind. You have to write this in your answer. Okay, and you can draw this diagram. Do understand what are the gases involved in here. Okay, why are electrode used there? Okay, because absolutely you need to have an electric spark energy source, that is by this electrodes. Okay, antibody. The diagram of antibody is also important. Okay, it's very easy. You just need to draw two Y's here. But the important thing is that which is heavy chain, which is light chain, whereas sulfur bonds, at least draw some sulfur bonds. These are the sulfur bonds. Okay, that will give you marks. And these are the antigen binding site. These are the labelings which are really important. Okay, fine. Now, this is one more thing, biogas plant. If there is a question, you can draw this particular question. Plasmids, practice that. If there is a question on plasmid, you can draw it. Okay, it will definitely give you full marks. And last but not the least, these are the bioreactors. One question from any one of them can be asked. Okay, so to practice, it's not a very big thing. You can practice it very well. Okay, so I believe that is how I'm completing my session here. And if you can understand that, what I said from the very starting, that the very first thing that you need to do while start preparing for biology is study NCERT for particular chapter. Then what are the important topics which I told you? Okay, you need to go through that, including diagrams. Right? Then you need to go for, you need to go for 100 questions that you have prepared. Okay, and then if you have time, you can go for some other questions, exemplar and all. You can do that, but I'll tell you, go for 5-year paper. Okay, if you practice that, perfect. You do these things, 90 plus is yours. Absolutely, without any doubt. So be confident. Now, there are a few things that I want to tell you for beautifying your paper, as I promised you before. Okay, first of all, whenever you write any definition, write any point, underline the important points. For example, the Liebig's law, the 10% rule, underline that, so that the examiner, the invigilator, or the examiner who are checking the paper, okay, can actually see that clearly. Okay, fine, that the point is written, full marks, because they also need to correct a lot of paper. Then try to draw flow chart. Okay, in the processes, let's say fingerprinting, let's say PCR. Okay, in the processes, do write the flow, do draw the flow chart. That's very, very good way to represent, and that actually show confidence in you that yes, I know it. Okay, right. Last but not the least is, in biology, it's, people think that like maths, you also lose time here, because diagrams are there, flow chart are there, you need to draw with scale and all. Yes, it takes time. Okay, so what I'm saying, don't become too emotional while writing. If you know the answer, do keep that in mind. You are writing for 2 marks. You don't have to write a paragraph. Okay, write it for 2 marks. If you know it, well and good. At the end of the paper, if you have time, you can actually beautify it. Okay, but time management is very, very important. Do go for 70 marks paper, guys. Okay, and from my side, from the whole team of Merit Nation, is wishing you a very, 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 very good luck for your preparation for your next examinations. Hope so. We'll meet again. Okay, and goodbye all of you, and best of luck. Take care.